Yo, 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 what is going on, everybody? Gabriel Santos here. And in today's video, we're going to talk about something I think many of you all who are dealing with your marijuana issues or marijuana problems, this could really enlighten you, okay? So, I know for many of us on this channel, we are looking to make some type of change with our marijuana use. And for most of us, we are looking for some type of happy medium between being able to enjoy marijuana responsibly and continue growing powerfully in our lives, right? And for some of us, it's as simple as I want to save money and not spend as much money or time with being stoned. Or for some of us, it's like, wow, I really just am sick of this cycle of running to marijuana as my main form of happiness and not having the ability to say no whatsoever. Okay. And so, regardless, this video will support any of you, no matter what your situation with marijuana is and no matter what type of outcome you're looking to produce. And so the key word today is alignment. Alignment. And so I know in the past I talk about integrity, right? Which is holding your word when it comes to marijuana. Or in another sense, integrity is all about, uh, you know, really being in alignment with not only marijuana, but with yourself as it relates to marijuana. Okay, so put the word integrity to the side, and we're going to start to talk about alignment. Okay, so let's take for the example moderation, right? Many of us, we decide that we want some type of structure, right? Because we're looking for a sense of responsibility and discipline. And so we say something like only after 7, or only on the weekends, or only one time a week, 5 times a week, one times a month. And although that can definitely be a working strategy, many of us, many of you find yourselves not being able to stick to that. And or rather not really finding and discovering like what am I trying to accomplish here? Like am I trying to smoke more weed, less weed? Is it about weed? Is it about my life? What's going on? And so consider that what all of this is about in terms of marijuana, in terms of yourself, in terms of your life, is alignment. Alignment. Because clearly, how things are going or have been going with marijuana and yourself is not in alignment. You're not happy with it. Something's wrong. Something's off. You're not fulfilled. You're not in alignment. So really take a moment, take a deep breath, and really get present to how or how not aligned you are with not just marijuana, but with yourself. Okay, and see if you can bring a sense of gentleness in this moment, a sense of compassion and forgiveness, non judgment in this moment, and just start to see and sense like, okay, this is an alignment, this is not an alignment. My schoolwork is in alignment. My relationship with my mom is not in alignment. My how clean or dirty my room is in alignment or not in alignment. And so as we focus here on marijuana, really start to ask yourself, you know, when do I feel aligned when I smoke weed, when I'm stoned? When do I feel aligned? And to give an example, um, my guess is that it really comes down to what matters to you. And this is why it's so important to discover what really matters in my life overall, right? Like, okay, for example, what matters to you, what matters, to you might be that I feel like I'm growing every day, that I feel like I'm progressing in my life every day, that I'm moving towards a vision that really calls to me, right? Whether that's completing college, completing high school, finding a career path, winning a sports championship, relationships, money, all this, and just see, what really matters to you. So, for example, I work with a number of young athletes, right? Young, either high school or college athletes, and any A-type personality or goal-oriented personality really cares about winning, really cares about performing, really cares about pursuing greatness on an athletic level. And so for most of these people, what really matters to them is that they go for the championship, that they go for athletic greatness. And what happens is they find themselves unaligned not only with marijuana, but with their with how they're pursuing their athletic greatness. And there tends to be a a correlation with how they're not aligned with the greatness and not aligned with the marijuana, right? They go hand in hand. Because if you're in alignment with the greatness, by default, really the alignment with the marijuana kind of comes naturally, right? And in kind of in the same way, if you're aligned with the marijuana, you're aligned with pursuing your greatness. Not always, but typically, right? Typically. And so consider that what what is alignment, what feels aligned is very unique to you. That's why it's important for you to start to reflect and journal and think like, okay, what would be aligned for me? And another way to say that is, what do I care about? What matters to me? Right? What do I want to be having in my life that I don't already have, right? And so um to maybe drive home another example, it's like, let's say, again, I work with a lot of young teens in high school and college, and a lot of these people, they come from a background of, I used to be successful, I used to, focus high, I used to have discipline, I used to have XYZ status, goals, all this, but, ever since I started smoking weed, all of a sudden I don't do that anymore. And it becomes this whole victim story about how it's the weed's fault that my life isn't going well, when in reality it's our fault, right? We're the ones that are choosing to smoke the weed. And it becomes this really, and this is very common and understandable, it becomes this very like harsh, like, fuck, I fucked up, like, fuck, and it's like, and then when you're in that low state of feeling like you're a fuck up, what do you think you want to do, right? Smoke more weed because you can't handle this feeling, which is understandable. And so if you're in that position, what I would say, my coaching to you would be, you know, where is the pain point, right? Where does it really hurt? Not physically, I mean emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. What hurts is that I am no longer the high performer that I used to be, no longer doing well in school, no longer focusing. Like, when I wake up every day, I feel like a shell of myself. And so clearly what's missing for you is to be on top of your game in whatever way that means to you. And so what's important is to become aligned, to center your actions, your thoughts, your ideas, and everything else in between, to align all of that with being great again, right? And that's why things like, okay, doing the cold showers, working out, all of that makes a lot of sense. But when we don't realize that it's all about alignment, right? It's not just about being someone that does good, healthy things. It's about that sense of alignment. That's why for many of you, I can relate to this as well. When we quit or we do have some type of structure, we start to feel good about ourselves because our lives are beginning to align, right? And then what happens is we quote unquote relapse, which I don't like using that word because it's very disempowering, right? It takes the responsibility out of your hands, right? So when we smoke weed, it's not that we smoked weed again, it's that we then start to live our lives in a way that is not aligned, right? That's why I referenced in a previous video, like, if you want to be a responsible stoner, you got to be responsible. You got to be responsible, right? So it's you really have to let go of the fact that to be aligned for many of you is to no longer go back to how you used to do it, right? Being aligned means caring about how your life is going. Being aligned means being willing to do what you need to do in order to get where you want to go. And so again, as it pertains to you, marijuana, your life, and everything in between, you must ask yourself, where do I feel out of alignment? What is not going well? Like, what are the areas that really I am not happy with? Could be your job, it could be your relationship, it could be the way that you just conduct yourself on a day-to-day basis, it could be the way you smoke weed or don't smoke weed, right? And so my encouragement for you, my coaching to you, is to slowly but surely, at whatever pace is sustainable for you, begin to align, right? And consider, like, you align one thing, you then start to create a ripple effect of alignment in all areas of your life. That's why, for example, what's his name? something Peterson. Regardless, that's why like they advise to make your bed in the morning. That's why they advise to have a clean, clutter-free environment, because there's a sense of alignment there for most of us. Now, here's what's crazy, right? What's crazy is you're gonna find so much different advice on the internet from all of these successful people saying what you need to be doing, right? And for most of us, there is a basic blueprint that works, but in reality, the only one who can decide if you're aligned is you, right? And things change all the time. And so it's easy to get attached to what is correct. Like, you might not smoke for 5 days straight and that feels good, but then the seventh day comes and this is where it gets kind of dicey and kind of slippery for those of us that have like an addictive or dependent or abusive relationship to marijuana in our past, where it's like, do you really feel out of alignment, or are you just like, you don't know how to deal with stress, right? You don't know how to deal with a certain emotion, or you don't know how to relax your body. That's why it can get really kind of like, confusing. But despite all that, really start to take on that what you're looking for is alignment. Alignment, right? And that when you are aligned, that's the money zone. That really is the money zone. And so ask yourself, what feels most aligned when it comes to marijuana? And in addition to that, what feels most aligned when it comes to my fucking life? And I don't expect anyone to like, all of a sudden their lives are forever changed because of this one video, but just really take this advice, take this coaching, take this information, store it in the back of your mind, and just have it be there. And as it naturally comes up for you, as it naturally applies for you, use it. Alignment, alignment, alignment. That's why when some of us are at a job that we don't like, we start to get fucking depressed, right? And I get it. We have to take on certain responsibilities to meet certain needs, like needing money to pay rent, needing money to have food. But in reality is you're not aligned, right? You're not aligned with that way of making money, that specific job. And so that's why it's important for you to go eventually have a plan of some kind to one day be aligned with what matters to you. And like I keep saying, what I don't want for you and what I know you don't want is to stay in this mode of being not aligned for the rest of your life. And you don't have to be that way, okay? It does take some courage, willingness, right? And humility to say, damn, this really is not how I want it to go. This is not how I want it to go. I want it to go this way. And the willingness to slowly but surely bring what really matters to you into your life. Marijuana, money, relationships, clothing, emotional states, right? How you like to take showers. And it's just crazy, guys. The more you're willing to just take on and be in alignment all throughout your life, the better it feels. It's like, oh my God, I'm actually living my life the way I want it to be lived. I'm not being driven by, what I should be doing or what society tells me, or, fear or what have you, or worse, like pure, like my primal brain. Like, no, like we want our souls to feel like it's getting the life that it deserves to be living. And I'm telling you, a key access point is to seek, pursue, and create alignment. Right? That's it for today's video. Hope you guys learned something awesome today. Shout out Buddha, shout out Chakra, shout out Dodgers. You already know. And shout out y'all. Hopefully, again, this video made good sense for you. Last but not least, shout out 3333, Kobe Bean Bryant, Destiny's Mavericks. That's me. That's you. Regardless, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.